Welcome. Thank you for coming today to our first of two town halls for Ames RAGBRAI. As far as a little bit of history of how this came about, we've been working with RAGBRAI for a little over a year to bring this summer's RAGBRAI to Ames. This is the 50th anniversary of RAGBRAI, and we knew that they were trying to recreate the original route, and we were on that original route. There was a number of meetings that were held early on in the discussions with the city of Ames leadership, along with Iowa State's leadership, and as well as the county, to ensure that this was something that we wanted to do and that we felt that we could do it successfully. And we had a resounding yes from everybody that was involved in those early discussions. So with that, just a quick overview. RAGBRAI will be arriving on Tuesday, the 25th. The last time it was held was in 2018. Our team has come up with Fun and Ames as the theme, and we really think this is a great opportunity to showcase our community, to showcase Iowa State. It will definitely be a huge economic impact for us, but it's also will create a social media buzz. The number of impressions that will be shared on social media when the riders are here, we know will be in the millions. So we are really excited to showcase downtown and everything that we have in Ames. Moving on to what to expect. There are about 2,500 vehicles that we know that are registered with RAGBRAI that will be arriving. Support vehicles, everything from a car to a semi. We know that we've got a lot that will be arriving. This doesn't include vendors. We have about 70 outside vendors that will be arriving as well. Those vehicles will be arriving primarily between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Tuesday, the 24th. There may be a few that'll be arriving in the middle of the night, early on Tuesday morning, but the majority will be arriving late morning. The one nice thing that is different versus 18, we did host in 08, but in 18 was that riders were coming on a short day from Jefferson. With coming from Carroll, that is also the Century Ride, which means there'll be riders that'll be going 100 miles that day. From Carroll, I believe it's 82 miles. And they'll be arriving a little bit later in the morning and later in the day. So that will help with a lot of these vehicles coming into town. As I said, this is the 50th anniversary, so RAGBRAI numbers are up significantly. In 18, we had about 8,500 registered riders for the week-long ride. This year, we've got over 20,000. Now, are those all new riders? We don't think so. We think that there are a lot of riders that normally would join RAGBRAI, but they weren't necessarily registered, also known as bandits. But with this being the anniversary ride, and they had been promoting, trying to do a record between Ames and Des Moines, we think that a lot of people that normally do ride that don't register did get registered this year. But as you can see on the slide, we've got record numbers for a single day of 2,200 between Ames and Des Moines. In 18, there was just around 1,000 riders, so more than double there as well. We believe that the majority of those riders, based on the distance that they're coming, will be arriving starting around 10 a.m. and that the busiest time will be between 11 and 4. The route does close at 6 p.m. It will open at 6 a.m., the official route for RAGBRAI. The route into Ames will be coming from South Dakota on R36. It'll be coming from the south, heading north up to Mortensen, and then turning east onto Mortensen Drive, or Mortensen Road. Didn't that used to be Mortensen Parkway, I believe? So it'll be heading east past the middle school and ultimately to Beach Avenue, which is where it came in 18. Once it turns north onto Beach, it will be turning into the Ryman Garden Service entrance. That entrance is used during football games and is used for deliveries that Ryman has as well. But they'll be turning off a Beach, coming in on that entrance, entering into the very first parking lot, which is known as S1, and then to the south side of Jack Trice at the Sukup end zone entrance. They'll be making a hairpin turn and going up the hill into the concourse level of Jack Trice, and then ultimately to the north side, which is the hillside, which gives a great view of Jack Trice Stadium. Then around to the east side to the new pedestrian bridge and ending at the end of that bridge. I'll talk more about Jack Trice and what is going to be expected there in just a moment. I wanted to talk about the campgrounds because that is an area where, as the riders get to the end of the footbridge, that's where riders will be heading multiple directions. There has been a new bike path that has been added going north and south from the end of the footbridge, going north to South 4th Street, and then going south to South 16th Street. That will help in getting riders distributed to the different campgrounds. If you look on the north, the kind of the tail or the teal green area, which is Brookside Park, that is what is known as the main campground for RAGBRAI. It's primarily tent camping only. This is an area that RAGBRAI riders who utilize RAGBRAI service to transport their equipment will be unloaded. So we know that a lot of riders will stay at Brookside Park, but a lot will be picked up there and maybe go to residence or other campgrounds to park or to camp. The pink areas that you see on that map are also campground areas for charters and assigned teams. Those are anywhere from 1,700 riders all the way down to 30 riders on teams. We know that there's other teams that maybe fall within that number range that may be staying at other area churches or other facilities that they've coordinated on their own. But these are ones that we have designated and assigned to these locations. So we have tried to utilize a lot of areas that weren't used in 18, knowing that our number is we're going to be greater, so that we can keep those green areas, the grass lots that are traditionally used for tailgates at Iowa State football games. Those are campground lots that will be used for support vehicle camping. Those are riders that maybe have somebody bringing their tents, and it may be a family of 4. It could be a team of 20. We really don't know what to expect, but they will be looking for areas to camp. And so that's what we have designated are those grass lots. That's more area than we had for 18. We do have a number of overflow areas in the orange on there that we will be directing riders to if those green areas those grass lots become full. So we're really have done, I think, a pretty thorough job in trying to designate areas so that way the majority of the riders coming in know where they're going when they get here. But we will have a large welcome at the end of the bridge to direct people as to where they're going to go. We've also utilized an area that's further south on the map that is down at the Collaboration Place and Ames Fitness Center. We'll have about 1,200 riders down there. We didn't use that in 18 as well. But it's an area that we felt that was worthy. We've got extra showers down there. And so we've got riders going as far north as Brookside that we've designated all the way down there to Collaboration Place. So some of the street closures to expect on Monday, beginning at 4 p.m. We will be closing Main Street to traffic. Main Street is still going to be open for business for those businesses that restaurants, other businesses that stay open beyond 4 o'clock. Those are still going to be open that evening and will be open on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. It's just that Main Street itself will be closed for parking beginning at 4 p.m. on Monday. On Tuesday, we will also have some controlled closures along Mortensen, to accommodate for riders and the residents that live along that area. We know that we've got to be able to allow our residents in and out, and so those will be controlled by city staff and Ames PD, a collaboration between Ames PD and Iowa State PD to control those closures. We will also have street closures, as I mentioned, on Main Street, but we will also have a short portion on South 4th Street between University and Hazel, and then also on 6th Street between University and Hazel. That stretch on 6th Street is along Brookside Park. It's to allow a lot of those riders in and those support vehicles to get in and to control that area. And then also on South 4th, as I mentioned, that area being closed, it does curve quite a bit there. And we know we have a lot of bicyclists that will be crossing the road there. And it just, for a safety reason, we felt it was important to keep that closed. We will also have on Wednesday controlled closed routes again on Mortensen on the way out. And I didn't mention that when I was talking about the route. The route out of Ames will be on Mortensen. It primarily will begin at University in Mortensen, heading west to South Dakota, and then we'll continue on south down to Slater. So we will have controlled closures along Mortensen on Wednesday morning. The welcome rally that I mentioned in and around Jack Trice Stadium, we've got a lot of great things happening inside the stadium. It will certainly be a football atmosphere without a game and without the fans, but we've got music and the video boards. We've got the ribbon boards going with RAGBRAI team names running around the ribbon board so that people can look for their name. With the hillsides, we'll have we'll have cheerleaders, ISU cheerleaders and Spirit Squad involved. We'll also have the Cy-Hawk trophies will be present so people can take pictures. It is the only place in the state that anyone can have their picture taken this year with the Cy-Hawk trophies. So we are excited about that. At the end of the bridge, there will be quite a few vendors, food vendors. We've got medical there, and as I mentioned earlier, information booths to be able to direct people to the different campgrounds. There will also be a lot of portable showers that will be located at the end of the bridge for those campsites that are all in that area. Also then for the Downtown Festival, we're really excited about working with Downtown Ames. Crystal Davis has done a great job in coordinating that and keeping our Ames businesses informed on what to expect downtown. I think that's been a real priority of Crystal's, and I'm grateful to have her taking the lead on this festival downtown. This is where the main entertainment will be. We will have 2 stages, one that will be placed on Main Street facing west. That will be the main stage. It will be down by Douglas Avenue. And then there'll be a secondary stage between US Bank and Everett's on Burnett that will be facing south. Both of those stages will have entertainment that will be played between 2 and 11 p.m. And we're excited about the lineup. We've got a lot of great bands that are local bands that will be performing, and then our headliner that RAGBRAI was able to secure with Hairball. Some of the ways that we are asking that our residents and businesses can get involved. Obviously, this is a heavy lift when it comes to needing volunteers and directing people where they need to get to or where they can get resources. We have over 400 positions. I think the slide says 300. We have over 400 that we're trying to fill. We have over 200 already filled, but we do need more help. So businesses or individuals, if you're looking to volunteer, this would be a great opportunity to do some team building with businesses and organizations. We can help you do that by going on to discoverames.com/RAGBRAI. And we have a portal there to get signed up and see all the different opportunities that are there. We are also looking for individuals to host riders. We have over 300 requests, I believe. That's close to 300. These are families, smaller teams that are looking for a place to stay other than the campgrounds that we have designated. And ideally, they would like somebody's backyard, or potentially they may need a bedroom or a driveway to park in, a shower, restroom to use, those kind of things. We've had a wide range of requests from riders and what they're looking for, and the website that we have. Again, it's off of our website. Our RAGBRAI website allows residents to be able to see that what might fit what you have to offer. So we're asking people to go to that site and see if they can help us host some of the riders. Back in 18, the last time we hosted, we accommodated over 500 riders. We have requests of over 300, but that's an individual requesting potentially upwards of 20 people to be hosted. So if we can get that fulfilled, we may accommodate as many as 3,000 riders. We also will have a number of RAGBRAI vendors that will be in Ames. We are fortunate in Ames that as an overnight town, we have a lot of restaurants, we have a lot of resources that the riders will be able to utilize our local businesses. But we know that it's such a large volume in such a short period of time that we do need outside vendors. And so we will have about 50 vendors. About 30 of them are food vendors. Some will be downtown, some will be at campgrounds. Some will be at the welcome at the end of the bridge. So we've got vendors that are in a number of places. We've felt that we've done a really good job of limiting the vendors so that way our local businesses can reap the benefits of having RAGBRAI here as well as those vendors. Safety has been a major concern. We had a public safety meeting earlier this week along with the team from RAGBRAI. We had everything from Ames PD, Ames Fire, ISU PD, Iowa State Environmental Health and Safety, to Mary Greeley Medical Center, Story County Emergency Management, as well as Iowa Patrol. So, and there's probably others that I've missed on there, but we feel we've got a really good plan. We're fortunate in Ames that we're used to having large events like we do when we have football weekends. So that has helped us a lot in our planning for safety and security and planning for emergencies. We have facilities that are designated for emergencies if the weather dictates such a thing. So we've got a really good plan in place, and I am extremely fortunate to be in Ames and to have the City of Ames staff and Iowa State staff to work so well together in ensuring that we have put our best foot forward and making sure that we're taking care of any potential emergency that could arise. I also want to recognize other individuals, a lot of businesses that have stepped up to help us support this event. This is a pretty heavy lift financially, as well as time for Iowa State and for the City of Ames. But I do want to recognize a couple of our sponsors: Central Iowa Board of Realtors, our platinum sponsor, Chevron Renewable Energy Group, Alliant Energy, and Summit Carbon Solutions. Those are our main 4 sponsors, but you see the others that are listed there. And I do want to thank them all for their support in helping us put our best foot forward for RAGBRAI. So with that, I would like to entertain any questions that anyone may have. Kate, you could hold on just one second. We are online.
The downtown festival part was part of the. Can you go back to that slide, please? The right side of that slide was it wasn't mentioned really much at all. So sorry for reference. I am Delavidi. Downtown, I'd like to know more about the street closure. Is it going to be like in 2018? It was completely blocked off, and you had to get an ID. You had to show your ID to have a wristband. So is that same thing happening? Is it an open concept for alcohol outside of the beer gardens, or how's that working?
Crystal, do you want to address that? Crystal, would you mind coming up here? We are streaming this. So I can just, Crystal can answer this in a much more eloquent way.
All right, what we're proposing due to the requirements of the main stage and getting some of our other service providers in, like our porta potties and trash and our information bins, is that we are proposing that Main Street would be shut down. Oh, Main Street would be shut down. Am I not? Oh, okay. Is this better? Okay. So what we're proposing is Main Street would shut down at 4 p.m. on Monday, July 24th, starting on Main Street. Once you passed the ATM drive-thrus of our 2 banks on the 400 block, and it would go all the way down to the Douglas corner of an intersection of Main Street. And then we are proposing Douglas from Main Street to 5th would be closed down at that time, as well as Kellogg from Main to 5th and Main to where it enters the parking lot on the south side. And that's to help meet the requirements of loading in a very big stage and getting the porta potties and everything loaded in. It would remain closed through the end of the until we get cleanup done on the 25th. And then we would start to reopen the streets until we get down to the 200 block where the main stage is by Douglas, that we have to wait for a lift to come lift it out on Wednesday morning, early in the morning. So officially, we hope everything's back open by 8 a.m. Regarding the beer garden, we are proposing that a concept like it was in 2018. So everyone can enter the Main Street area, but if you wanted to buy a beer in our beer garden, you do have to be ID'd and wristbanded before you can buy that beer. And you can, we are proposing that you can walk within those parameters of the Main Street area with that beer. The beer cannot, or the alcohol beer, it cannot go outside that perimeter, and it cannot come in an alcoholic beverage from outside the perimeter cannot come in as well. Does that make sense? Did I say that correctly?
Okay. So when will those things be enacted? And when will you said you're proposing, so it hasn't been decided yet. When will it be?
Yep, that'll be coming soon.
Will there be a meeting?
It'll go before the events committee and the council. Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to? Are you referring to will there be a downtown meeting?
Well, will there be an announcement so those of us who have
Yes,
liquor licenses downtown will understand when that's happening?
Absolutely.
And we could
Absolutely.
have input. There hasn't been really any input asked from us with liquor licenses downtown yet, so it's important that we know what's going on. In
Absolutely.
2018, there were service help. I don't know whether if they were AIMS or security or whatever. They were posted at all alcohol.
That is correct. We do have plans in place to have that as well.
So yes, if you could reach out to all liquor license holders and let
Sure.
us know ahead of time when that's going to be on the city council agenda,
Absolutely.
so we can be there to have our input. It's really important. I have a sidewalk patio. And for those of you who don't know, I'm the one with Brian's help. I was the one who actually got sidewalk patios down on Main Street sidewalks. So I'm very, very concerned about when that's closed down and when it's going to be open. And just making sure that we are aware of when that's all happening.
Okay. Yep.
So, so the so Main Street will stay closed after the stages are torn down because it's closed on Wednesday as well.
So we need to keep a portion of the 200 block. So we need to start, the whole 200 block will need to stay closed until that main stage comes down. And then we have to have a special piece of equipment come in to lift it up and out. And that'll come early Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Yep.
It hasn't really been indicated how are riders getting from the various dispersed camping areas to the downtown entertainment district? Is there a shuttle service? Are they bringing those bikes downtown? How is that going to happen?
That's a great question. And I neglected to mention that. We will have shuttles. SciRide will be providing a shuttle from Brookside Park to downtown. And then we have CIT Signature Transport, a local bus company, will be providing 3 other shuttles. One that will be going from the towers and down Lincoln Way to downtown. We have one that will be going from the South University down by the Ames Fitness Center, and then another one that will be accommodating the grass tailgate lots and the haunted forest area as well to downtown. So we actually have 4 routes that riders will be able to utilize those shuttle buses. That is all free of charge and complimentary. We will be starting that around 2:30 in the afternoon, and those will go until everything but the Brookside one, I believe, ends at 10:30. The others will go to 11 o'clock, which is when the concert ends.
Is that different from 2018?
I believe
Were there
that,
shuttles in 2018 as well?
yes, there were. It's very similar. We've actually added one more route. Also, there will be, for those that ride their bike downtown, we will have bike racks that will be along 5th Street between Burnett and Kellogg, I believe.
Could you clarify the end of entertainment? You said the routes will run until the concert ends. Is that until dispersal of attendees ends? Or when the music is done, the shuttles are done and take one ride out? I'm concerned. I manage London Underground. I'm Darien Everding. We've had difficulty getting people home safely with the lack of Uber and Lyft and other things in town sometimes, and the extra constraints placed on that many folks. I just want to make sure that we're prepared to get folks home safely, and we know exactly when that cutoff is.
Sure, that's a good point. That right now, 11 o'clock is a loose number, and none of this has been promoted yet. So we can certainly take a look at that. And sometimes I know with different events that we've had shuttles for, sometimes we'll leave it up to ridership, what it ends up being.
On road street closure, first of all, the 100 block of Main Street will still be open and have parking on it or not?
It will not.
It will not be open or it won't have parking?
Both,
And the CBD lot will still be open?
yes.
And then other road closures, there, all those apartments across from the Ames Middle School, how will they get across? Get out of there and go any direction?
I'll have Brian Phillips answer that.
Could you go to the route map?
And also, I-30, the US 30, South Dakota is it's a feeder route out of Ames. And will we be able to use that for the, it empties out all of West Ames?
Yeah, so we are putting in place temporary traffic signals at a couple of key points along Mortensen Road. So, for example, all the apartments that are south of Mortensen just east of South Dakota Avenue. We're going to funnel all of the folks who live in that area to Coconino Road, where we will have a road, Coconino. So all of those apartments there can access Coconino Road. Seagrave will be closed, but Coconino Road will be controlled by a temporary traffic signal. We'll have that staffed, which will allow us to have the residents access in and out to get across the route safely and avoid conflict with the bike riders as they're coming into town. There are a couple other locations like that along Mortensen Road where we will have temporary traffic signals that will allow residents to either cross the route to get away from the rider area, or to get onto the route to get where they need to go without conflicting with the riders. We're going to be sending information to all the folks who live along the route to give them information about the detours and so forth. In addition to that, we will have some parts of the route between Beach Avenue, south of Greenbrier Circle, all the way down to Mortensen, and then from Mortensen and Beach to Ash Avenue. We will have that set up for one-way vehicle traffic to go basically clockwise through that area. So if you live in that neighborhood along that route, you can come into Beach Avenue from the north. You come southbound and get into that that controlled circle and get into or out of your residence if you live along that part of the route. So we've got that managed. So there will be some disruption to the folks who live in that area, but there are detours that we'll set up during the time that the route is active.
And how about the residents getting on to US 30?
So US 30, on the day that the route comes in, the westbound US 30 off-ramp is going to be closed because that would conflict with the riders coming in. The US 30 both US 30 ramps at South Dakota will be closed on Wednesday morning as the riders are leaving, because the riders have to go across both of those, both the on-ramp and the off-ramp area, and there would be a lot of conflict with traffic. So people who would normally use that will either need to go further west to the Lincoln Way connection to Highway 30, or they'll need to go down to University Boulevard where it crosses Highway 30.
I know the residents of West End, they don't know anything about what you guys are doing right now, about the traffic or anything. That's why I'm here, is to find out how my daughter can get to work.
Yep, we're working on putting out a video that's geared towards Ames residents that will indicate what's closed, what's open, what are the best ways to get around, and what the timing is. That'll be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. We'll put that on our social media. We will have announcements about where to go to view that video. Last time, that was a pretty successful way for people to figure out where they needed to avoid if they wanted to avoid the route. We're also sending out information to the households that are going to be affected directly by the route if they're along the route. And then we intend to put out electronic message board signs in the days prior to the event so that people are aware of certain roads that are going to be closed or impacted.
Thank you. I do appreciate those questions, and that's why we have the town hall meetings, is so that way we can inform residents of what to expect. So thank you for those questions.
I have a
question about hydration concerns. As a business downtown, one of our main requests last time was having water available. Do you know, are campgrounds going to have water stations and fountains available? Will those be temporarily installed? What does it look like, Crystal, if you can answer downtown? Should we gear up to make sure that we've got water bottles available for folks? Or will that be something that we can rely on the stage and the setup downtown to have access for water with or without for sale? If anyone could speak to that, please.
Sure. Yes, the campgrounds at the end of the bridge, which is kind of a central location for a lot of campgrounds, will have hydration stations there that they can fill water bottles free of charge. That will be continuously running water from a hydrant that we're working with the city to ensure that it's been filtered. We also will have one of those at Brookside Park as well. We also have access to one that will be up by the towers where we've got several thousand people up there, as well as down at the Ames Fitness Center. And then even at Lead Recreation Center is another hydration station as well. As far as downtown, we do have water is available for sale. I can't speak to any fill stations for downtown though. But water is something that will be sold at all the beverage stations downtown.
Excuse me, I have a question about voluntary room for someone to stay. I was told to go to Discover Rooms, which I did, but there were hundreds of people seeking rooms, and after about an hour, I gave up and said, is there someone else who can pair me with someone that doesn't require multiple hours of time to make room?
If you call Discover Rooms directly, I would be happy to do that work for you. I work closely with the riders as well as with the residents in the community, and I'm happy to do a little bit of that legwork for you. We created that hosting website so that the riders can put their information out there, and we just have that all in place so that the community members can choose their own adventure when it comes to hosting.
Yeah, so if anyone else has issues, if you're willing to host a rider, if you're having concerns, please contact Kate at Discover Ames. We'll be glad to help you. Any other questions? Well, if you do have any other questions, feel free to contact us at discoverames.com. We do have a staff page with all of our emails and phone numbers on there. We'll be glad to assist you in getting those questions answered, or if it's a question we haven't thought of yet, let us know that, because we'll be glad to work on that solution as well. So with that, thank you very much. And thanks for everyone in understanding that there are inconveniences with having RAGBRAI here. We know that, but the gains outweigh those inconveniences. The amount of income that it brings to our businesses on a Tuesday in the middle of the summer is extremely greater than it normally is. So we are thankful to have RAGBRAI here, but I'm also thankful for all of our partners and residents in understanding that it is an inconvenience, but it definitely will help showcase our community in the long run, and we definitely will benefit. So with that, thank you very much.